The entire pregnancy, you're focusing on what sort of birth will you have? Will you be formula feeding or breastfeeding? You know, all of that stuff. Whereas very quickly, somebody's telling you, right, well, you need to decide if you're going to have a post-mortem. You need to decide whether you wanted to see the chaplain, the fact that there would be a bereavement midwife that would come and see you. Funerals were being mentioned. There's so much thrown at you in such a short period of time, and there are decisions that you have to make in that moment.
I don't feel I really was told about the review process. A consultant told me that they'd be looking at everything, our scans and things. I didn't know that we would be involved in it, that we would be giving our views. I just thought that something was happening behind the scenes, but didn't know that I was a participant in it. My recollection is that it was almost us that wanted to have a meeting, which we now understand was the review meeting.
In the overwhelming situation that they find themselves in, we know that parents often don't have an immediate contact. So I think making it very clear to parents who their contact is, how they get in contact with them, understand the questions that they're going to have, and to help them formulate those questions and submit them to the review panel.
Often professionals would be explaining things, but it'd be hard to take on board what they were saying. You kind of feel yourself almost leaving the room and just kind of looking down as if you're watching somebody else. And quite often after these appointments, my husband and I would be trying to piece together what was said. You can't believe that this is your life, this is what's happened, you're not taking your baby home.
We want to hear the parents' views of what they are feeling about the death of their baby, what they think has happened, the questions they might have, and that is why we want parent collaboration involvement in this review process. And when we come to recommendations about what the learnings should be or changes that should be implemented, hearing parents' views about what they think would have helped their baby.
What I've found is really important is that healthcare professionals were kind. They were at your level, they were speaking calmly, but they were very direct, and that was hugely important. The information needed to be clear, and I appreciate that different families might have different levels of understanding, so it would be really important to recognise where a family is and communicate in the way that's going to be effective for them.
I feel like nobody set me down because maybe people thought that I would not understand, or people just undermined me, or people just felt like it was not necessary. And sometimes when I ask questions that cannot be answered now, it makes me upset.
What we have to go on are electronic and paper records, and depending on the situation, sometimes statements from staff involved in the care. If a mother has phoned the hospital with a symptom, let's say bleeding or reduced movements, how she perceives the telephone conversation where the advice was given bears no relation to the typed note. Parents give the really important parental perspective.
The frustrating thing for us was how much we had to chase the review, and a bit of a roadmap in terms of what we could expect. So I don't remember any of that, to be fair. And we've kept all of the documentation that we had. Open and honesty for us. If you've got something to say, just say it how it is. You are at a low ebb, and I suppose getting these answers as quickly as possible allows the healing process to start. It doesn't ever really end. I mean, we're 4 years on, and they say time's a healer. I don't think, you certainly never forget, you just learn to be a little bit stronger every day. But that honest and openness at the start would allow that healing process to start earlier, which is going to be in everyone's interest.
I think your friends and family can tell you it's not your fault every day, all day, every day, and it doesn't mean anything. You almost need the doctor to tell you it's not your fault. It's something that takes a long time to accept, and I don't know if I'd ever have believed it wasn't my fault if I didn't have a review where I was told that directly.
When something happens to you or your baby, you instantly lose a bit of trust. Building that trust with professionals and with parents for moving through will really allow parents to be able to open, hopefully be as honest as they can be with professionals, but vice versa, professionals be able to be as honest with parents as well. And that's the only place we've got to get to be able to improve maternity and neonatal care.
Being part of the review process can be challenging for parents because it does involve re-engaging with the hospital, with the healthcare professionals that they may not feel that they built up a trusting relationship with. Then maybe they're pregnant again, maybe they're devoting their time to their other children there, and that actually their grieving process needs to be in a different timescale to when the review is taking place.
Every bereaved parent deserves a voice, and that every bereaved parent can have a voice. It's about finding how we support them to have that.